Death toll owing to the natural disaster rises to 64, while 131 persons still unaccounted for. Over 320,000 persons displaced. The Sirasa Shakti John Kill Sahana Yatra together with Brandix reaches the disaster-affected persons. International community including India and China provide aid to Sri Lanka. The Sirasa John Kill's Vesak Zone organized to celebrate Vesak to commence tomorrow.
Hello there and a very good evening. You're with Primetime News on TV1 and Shakti TV. I am Dasni Atta with the news first, and let's start off with a look at tonight's stories.
දැන් මට ඉතුරු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ජේසුස් වහන්සේගේ කරුණාවයි එක අතින් නිව්ස්ෆර්ස්ට් මයික් අනිත් අතින් ධෛර්යය.
Now, as you saw before, the prevalent weather conditions have taken the country by storm, which is why we here at News First have set up an exclusive weather center so that you who is watching this at home have a proper and sound understanding of what exactly is happening across the island. Now, I will be joined by Chaturanga Haparachi, who is at the exclusive weather center. Chaturanga, over to you.
Thank you, Dasani. Here we are at the Extreme Weather Center. We've been bringing you updates of what's going on in the country in terms of weather, and we've been bringing you updates of what's going on in terms of the Sirasa Shakti John Kill Sahana Yatra program that we launched together with Brandix. Now, looking at what's happening in the country at the moment, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has decided to dispatch 2 ships with relief material to Sri Lanka following a request made by President Maithripala Sirisena.
The Hindu newspaper, quoting an Indian Defence Ministry source, said that 2 naval ships, 1 naval offshore patrol, also known as the NOPV, INS Sunanya, and 1 survey ship, INS Sutlej, are being sent to Colombo from Southern Naval Command in Kochi. It adds that INS Sutlej has already embarked with relief material. The Sri Lanka Navy also confirmed this to News First. Meanwhile, the Chinese government expressed its condolences over the loss of life following devastating floods and landslides in Sri Lanka. Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Yi Jiangliang, called on President Maithripala Sirisena yesterday at the president's residence to inquire into the devastation caused by the adverse weather. It was emphasized that the government and the people of the People's Republic of China will do its utmost for Sri Lanka's relief work. The Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka had also noted that China also believes under the leadership of President Maithripala Sirisena, the Sri Lankan people will surely conquer the disaster. According to a statement from the Chinese embassy in Sri Lanka, President Maithripala Sirisena had commended the support extended by the government of China for always being the first to come forward to provide assistance during a disaster situation.
The Mahanayaka of the Askari chapter of the Siam sect, Most Venerable Varakagoda Jnanaratna Thera, speaking at the Askari Mahaviharaya today, commented on providing relief to the disaster-affected individuals.
A large number of persons have been rendered helpless following the heavy downpour. Many others have also been displaced and have lost everything. They have no place to live and nothing to eat and drink. At this time, it is paramount that they be provided with dry rations and drinking water. Taking into account the merits obtained during the festival of Vesak, everyone must come forward to support them and obtain merits. We call on the Mahasangha to inform the laymen and ensure that the relief process for the affected are helped and are streamlined. If the goods are being distributed in an even manner, that would be even better.
His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, who is currently in Rome, expressed his condolence to the people who have been affected by natural disasters. His Eminence also commented on the Sirasa Shakti John Kill Sahana Yatra program that we have launched together with Brandix.
I was extremely saddened by the news of the great devastation caused by the floods and other disasters in Sri Lanka over the past few days. I'm overseas at the moment upon an invitation extended to me by His Holiness the Pope. At this time, I call on everyone to assist and provide relief to all those who have been affected. I would also like to add that we must all assist in the relief program organized by the MTV MBC Media Network together with the other private organizations. I call on all Sri Lankan communities to assist this together. I would also especially request the Catholic community to provide support and relief during this time of need.
As mentioned before, what is happening in terms of the weather in the country? Several areas remain inundated following the Kalani River breaking its banks. This evening, the water levels at the water gauge in the Kalani River stood at 7.3 feet. The Department of Irrigation notes that this is a significant reduction compared to last night.
Several areas including Sedavatta, Mahabutgamur and Valampiti were inundated today as well. Using drones, Newsfirst conducted a reconnaissance of the affected areas from above. Several areas in Malabar were inundated this afternoon as well. Persons displaced by the floods continue to remain on the flyover in Palyagoda even this evening. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Disaster Management has expanded the scope of coordinating with the Disaster Management Centre.
Now, the death toll owing to natural disasters in the country has risen to 64. It was also reported that 319,573 people have been displaced and have been taken to refuge at temporary shelters. 131 persons are still unaccounted for. Security forces today recovered 4 bodies from the site of the landslide that took place in the Siripura mountain range in Aranayaka.
Operations to locate those missing following the landslide in the Siripura mountain entered its 3rd day today.
මෙම ප්‍රදේශයට අද
This area experienced an inclement weather from this morning, so the search operations were halted several times. Last evening, while we were here, a landslide took place in another part of the Siripura mountain. The security forces stated that no one was injured due to the landslide.
නායාමට ලක් වුණා. ආරක්ෂක අංශ පවසා සිටියේ හැබැයි ඉන් කිසිවකට හානියක් නොවු බවයි.
During the early stages of the operation today, there were interruptions from the rain and the operations were suspended from time to time. Major General Sudantarana Singha, Commander Security Forces West, said that 18 bodies were discovered thus far and more limbs were discovered today. Chatrika Sirisena also visited Arunayaka today and met with the people who were affected by the landslide. The final rites of 9 persons who were killed in the landslide were performed today. The final rites were performed following observances that took place in the local schools where operations are being carried out from. Security forces today decided to call off the search operation at the site of the landslide in Kalupanavatta, Bulat Kahupitiya.
The Sirasa Shakti John Kale Sahana Yatra program, together with Brandix, organized in order to provide relief to the hundreds of thousands of people affected by torrential rainfall, gale winds, flash floods and landslides, set off towards the affected areas today.
The district of Colombo was the most affected by the flash floods. The convoys with relief material visited many areas including Kolonava, Meetotamulla, Mulleriava and Angoda, where the people breathed a sigh of relief after being offered the aid. We wish blessings for Sirasa for this meritorious deed. Everything got washed away by floodwaters. We are happy that we received this relief package. What is? Over 40,000 families in the Gampaha district were affected by the floods, and the convoys first visited the Urban Council Community Centre in Gampaha to provide the relief aid. As the Thero in the temple, we wish blessings for the Sirasa Media Institution and all the other institutions that got together to provide this relief to the affected people.
This is of insurmountable value to us.
We wish you strength and courage to carry out more deeds like this.
I thank you for this deed.
are in the Gampar district and we just finished distributing donations and aid relief items given by the Republic for the John Hill Sahane Yatra program. We are in the Netherlands area in Gampar. What you see behind me are people collecting the relief items that we gave to these people and they are giving back to their homes. This is a plight they are currently in. Whatever you've given, whatever you've contributed, what you've spent on, it is going to people who are in dire straits, in dire need of relief items because the weather battered these areas over the weekend.
The most number of deaths were reported from the Kegaul district, which were the result of flash floods and landslides. Large numbers were also affected from the Putlam district. The Sahane Yatra provided relief to those affected.
Their lives were destroyed as a result of this disaster. This aid that you give will be instrumental for them to bring their lives back to normal.
We are thankful to God for Sirasa for the good and meritorious deed they are carrying out when a number of people in the country are affected.
It's 8:45 p.m. It's raining, and the convoy of the Sirasa Shakti John Kill Sahane Yatra that came to Kegaul just arrived in the village of Bulakkupitia, the location of the second biggest landslide that took place in Sri Lanka in the past week. In the morning we visited the village of Arannayaka, where we gave donations to hundreds of families, and the tales that we have learned from them regarding the devastation from the landslides was very awful. It's been a long day, but we will not stop until the last pack of goods has been distributed to the needy here in Bulakkupitia. Reporting from the town of Bulakkupitia for the Newsfirst team, I'm Prashant Sky.
Flash floods and gale winds battered Kilinochchi in the northern province, and the Sirasa Shakti John Kill Sahane Yatra together with Brandix were en route to provide relief to those areas.
We have now arrived in the Parandan-Sivapuram area here in Kilinochchi, where more than 450 families have been affected due to the inclement weather that has been prevailing in the island for more than 3 days. Now we have arrived here and we have started distributing the relief items to the people here in the Parandan-Sivapuram area, and we are continuing to do so, and we will distribute the items to them as of today, and we will be leaving to another area. For the Newsfirst team, I am Florin Rajan reporting from Kilinochchi.
The district of Colombo was the most affected by the flash floods. The convoys with relief material visited many areas including Kolonnava, Meetotamulla, Mulleriava and Angoda, where the people breathed a sigh of relief after being offered the aid.
We wish blessings for Sirasa for this meritorious deed. Everything got washed away by floodwaters. We are happy that we received this relief package. What is...
Now, the disaster situation that has affected the country was raised during the parliamentary sessions today. During the session, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe made an announcement on proposals to provide relief to the people.
I have instructed the Finance Minister to hold discussions with the Minister of Disaster Management and come up with several proposals that will aim at providing relief to the people in the districts and that have been affected by the disaster. I have called for these proposals next week.
Due to floodwater rising in Kalani River, the Ambatale new intake had to be kept under careful observation for the past few days. Only if the water level reaches 23 feet, we may be compelled to completely shut down. No truth to the rumor that the Kalani River water had been severely polluted with oil. We have been constantly checking the water for impurities, and we can guarantee the quality of water.
We have taken measures to immediately provide assistance to those who have been affected by the landslides. In addition, insurance companies have received claims for cars and refrigerators that have been destroyed. Suggestions have been made on resettlement. As of last evening, as per the recommendations by the President and the Prime Minister, the Finance Ministry released 1,588 million rupees. We have been instructed not to cut down on the funding. The expenses are being made through the Ministry of Disaster Management. The Prime Minister reminded us that it is most suitable for the expenses to be made from the Ministry of Disaster Management. Some countries have also come forward to make donations. Therefore, when imports are made, if they are presented to the Secretary of the Finance Ministry, the President and the Prime Minister have permitted to make those imports without any duty. The most devastating landslide in Sri Lanka took place in Arunayaka. The area is active. The Sri Lanka Army and the relief teams are still in this area making observations. Rains are expected in the coming days. Yesterday, the Kalani River received rain of over 120 millimeters. We believe that the water levels of the lower area will rise. We urge everyone in those affected areas to evacuate and move to safer locations. We cannot make predictions on the water levels. The President instructed for security measures for those houses. No one needs to have any fear. Everyone who has been affected will be given assistance to rebuild their houses. Alternative lands have been given to those in the landslide affected areas. The government and the Ministry of Housing and Construction has given the support for the construction of houses in those lands. The minister spoke of the floods and disaster situation. We believe that this situation has resulted in loss of life and property and trade, and we request the Prime Minister to agree on convening Parliament next week to discuss the situation. We will do the needful based on the report provided by the Minister of Disaster Management. This would not have happened if you had not smashed coconuts. These debates are good for the debates of Dinesh Gunawardena and the joint opposition. Debates will not provide relief for the people. We request the joint opposition to step out and help the people. We do not need the help of anyone. We served as government officials in the villages.
Now, the Sirasa Shakti John Keel's Sahana Yatra, together with Brandix, the relief and aid program, disembarked from the number 330 TB Jaya Mavata Colombo 10 this morning. Here's a look at what happened this morning.
Torrential rainfall and flash floods over the past 5 days caused earthlips and landslides affecting the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kegalle, Puttalam and Kilinochchi. The Sirasa Shakti John Keel's Sahana Yatra, together with Brandix, was organized to be a helping hand to the people who are in dire need, and the convoy set off this morning following religious observances.
යක්ඛ භූතානම් පාපග්ඝා නිවාරණා පරිත්තසානුභාවේන හන්තු තේසං උපද්දවේ
ඕම් ශාන්ති 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 හේද ඔබ වහන්සේගේ වරප්‍රසාදය තුල ඒ සහනය හැම කෙනෙකුට ලැබෙන පිළිවෙලට වැඩ කරන්නට ඔබ වහන්සේගේ සුද්ධාත්ම ආලෝකය දුන්න.
බිස්මිල්ලාහිල් ලදී ලා යදුර් මා ඉස්මිහි ෂයිඋන් ෆිල් අර්ලි වලා ෆිස් සමා වහුවස් සමීඋල් අලීම්.
I wish to first convey our condolences to the families of people who have lost their lives, as well as a heartfelt thank you to the general public for their overwhelming response within 24 hours to get this operation going. Over the years, we have seen the response from the general public and been encouraged by it. We are in a fortunate position to be able to drive such campaigns. I would like to thank the
රටක ව්‍යසනයකට පත් වුණාම පෞද්ගලික අංශය නිකම් බලා නොඉඳ.
When the country faces a disaster, the private sector does not idle, but it organized these programs on behalf of the government, and this program has been accepted by the general public through the support that has been extended to us. John Keels is an organization that has always supported this endeavor. The chairman and the directors, as well as the staff of John Keels, were with us here since last night to pack the items and ensure that they were prepared to be distributed among the needy. We are thankful for their commitment. Also, we need to thank Ashraf Omar of Brandix and his staff for coming together with us, even if it was on short notice.
ප්‍රමුඛ අධ්‍යක්ෂ මණ්ඩලයේ වගේම සේවක පිරිස අපිට ඉතාමත් උනන්දුවෙන් මෙවන් අවස්ථාවකට සහභාගී වුණා.
We have been working together since 2014 when it came to events of this nature. Thank you very much to the Capital Maharaj organization and their employees. And I also wish to take the opportunity to thank all the members of the public who have come here in their thousands and contributed their mind. We are extremely grateful and thankful.
Well, that's all the news we have for you in terms of the weather and in terms of the Sirasa Shakti John Keels Sahanayatra program together with Brandix. Dasuni Atauda is in the news studio with more details, more news. Dasuni, over to you.
Thank you for that, Chaturanga. Now in other news, the Sirasa John Keels Vesak Zone, organised to celebrate the festival of Vesak, will commence tomorrow. Today is day 4 of the processions carrying the relics to the Sirasa John Keels Vesak Zone.
The procession carrying the Sarvana relics and the relics of the Maharat heroes commenced from the Purakanda Rajamahvihara in Nithambo today. Sirasa John Keels Vesak Zone will pave the way to obtain more merits by organising it. The motorcade is expected to reach the Kalniya Rajamahvihara this evening after passing Pasyala, Kadavata, Kiribatgoda and Kelaniya. The procession carrying the Agrashravaka relics of the Arahat Sariputta and Moggallana commenced today's journey from the Rabdegama Kihibili Ala Shri Vijayvardhana Ramaya. Religious observances were held this morning. I would like to know from you as to how the Mahabodhi Society acquired these relics, and are they the actual relics? The relics were given to the Chaitagiri temple in Sanchi, India. Then they were taken away to England, where they were kept for over a century at the Victoria Albert Museum. The monks who were sent by the late Anagarika Dharmapala became aware of the placing of these relics at that museum. Later the relics were returned. Thereafter a request was made to vest a portion of these relics to Sri Lanka. The late Nehru agreed, and in 1955 the relics were brought to Sri Lanka. The procession carrying the sacred Agrashravaka relics passed Badegama, Alpitia, Pentota and Berola before reaching the Kaltirabodhiya this evening.